Have you wondered, is it the beginning of the end of the all-format player?
And how does it impact the different formats of the game? Keep watching till the end to find out.
Welcome to CricWorld Straight Up by Vijay and Prabhu.
Thank you so much for joining us once again. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification button.
You mentioned about all format players. What do you mean by that?
So I'm just talking about players who play all the formats of the game like T20, ODIs and Test cricket. Like for example, you have the Rohit Sharmas, the Virat Kohlis, the Jasprit Bumrahs, the Rishabh Pants who play all the formats. That's what I meant.
Okay. What is the problem? Why is it the beginning of the end?
Good question, Vijay. To answer this, we'll have to take a look at India's upcoming cricket schedule.
Sure.
First, Australia comes to India playing the T20s in September, followed by South Africa coming to India to play T20s and the One Days. This is all just before the World Cup. And this is of course after the Asia Cup.
Okay, so that means India has got a packed schedule all the way to World Cup, and let's not forget the World Cup itself.
Yes, that's true. So keeping in mind the amount of cricket which is being played, it takes a huge toll on the bodies of the players. And you know, this situation is being faced by most of the other countries as well. And by the way, you know that Ben Stokes has decided to retire from one format of the game.
That's right. Now, despite being a marquee player for the World Cup ODIs, he decided to quit, and at a young age of 31. So obviously it has to be workload management, because he clearly went out and said that it is unsustainable for him to play all three formats. Are there any other players like that?
Yes, Tamim Iqbal also decided to give up one format very recently from Bangladesh, you know. And lest we forget, we've got another classic example of Quinton de Kock retiring completely from Test cricket earlier this year. And
That's right. That's right. So this seems to be a global situation. A country like South Africa, they do not possibly have a large pool of players. So you're absolutely right. Quinton de Kock is another example of too much of cricket. Correct?
yes, absolutely.
Your favorite. What is it?
Trivia time?
Yes.
Okay.
I think possibly easy one for you. Who has scored the maximum number of double hundreds for India?
I think I know this one. It should be Sehwag. After he's got two triple hundreds.
Yes, he has, and almost third one triple hundred as well. But no, give me another one.
Then it has to be Virat Kohli.
Okay, how many centuries then?
I can't remember, but I think it should be 6 or 7.
Yeah. So yes. So he scored 7. Tendulkar has scored 6. Well done. So why do you think, Prabhu, that we have a situation that we are facing currently?
Well, I think we have to look back into time, and it probably all started with the IPL in 2008, where they started with this brilliant idea of promoting T20 cricket and promoting local talent and getting players from overseas as well.
Sure.
And slowly but surely, the money became humongous.
Yes, and we've done a video on that. We've done a video which actually talks about the humongous amount of money which IPL makes. Okay, go on.
Yes, and now what's happening is I think more boards are also trying to do or replicate the same thing.
Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at how many boards are in this kind of game now. Just about every board has their own T20 challenge. Correct. Or whatever you call it. Now,
yeah, they have their own versions. Yes.
Correct. And IPL is the only ICC sanctioned one. That means all the players have to be released for IPL. Well, IPL being IPL.
The success of the IPL actually made other boards think as well. And they've also started to replicate the same model. Not so much only for the money, but because that money actually funds the longer versions of the game.
Does it though?
Yes, it does.
Okay, now consider UAE doesn't actually play the longer version of the game. However, they are the latest entrants in this game. And it's not an issue, but it is an issue if we closely look at the schedules. It is actually going to create a lot of clash between the BBL, the Bangladesh, even South Africa one.
Yeah, I think I heard something about David Warner changing his plans as well.
Yes, we are coming to that as well. So UAE, it's not about UAE needing the money to actually fund, but this is what it is actually happening. T20 and being so popular all around the world, and most importantly, IPL giving a blueprint to just about every other board, actually is very understandable that everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon.
And who would blame the players?
Why would you? Why would you? I mean, you and I would actually be in the same position. So if this gravy train is likely to impact the other versions of the game.
Absolutely. Very, very interesting observation, Vijay. And I agree with you.
We have a special shout out for Sadbir from Bombay, India.
Thank you so much for all your support so far, and keep sharing this with all other cricket lovers.
Thank you, Sadbir.
You know, I had just mentioned David Warner.
Yes.
Let's take a look at why he's in this position. Playing the BBL would have got David Warner $238,000 as a top player. But if he went to the UAE, it almost doubles at $450K.
Exactly. And it's very, very tempting. And I understand. Because I've got this kind of money, as I would say a dangling carrot, would actually go for something like this. David Warner is just one of those players. Are there any other examples?
Yes, coming to think of it, Liam Livingstone is also in the same situation. He is a marquee player for the BBL, but it looks like he may be not finishing the business end of the BBL and moving over to the UAE.
I completely understand.
Each player, top player, plays about 180 to 210 days of cricket every year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a huge workload they have to go through.
Correct. And I think if you are younger, you're hungry, you don't have very many responsibilities, then one can actually see that they can play as much cricket as possible. But as you get older, you have more responsibilities, you have families, and if you look at all the players, they are now choosing to actually go for one of the formats, at letting go of one of the formats for sure. Like we've already given a number of examples. And I suppose you guys are also understanding that the days of all format players are done.
And we are reaching the stage where people have to choose their body, the money. I mean, it's a call everyone has to take. And I dare say that Virat Kohli is going to take that call very soon after the T20 World Cup.
You might be right. And you heard it here first, folks. Virat Kohli might be putting his boots up after the World Cup.
Yeah,
who knows?
For the T20 format only though.
So one thing is now established, that the cricket calendar all around the year is so packed and heavily skewed by the T20s. What does this mean for Test cricket, and what does this mean for the middle child one-day cricket?
I think because of the time constraints in the calendar, they will have to work out probably delete of the bilateral series. When a country comes to, say for example, another country, they go and play T20 cricket, one-day cricket, as well as a test series as well. So they might have to do away with the ODI series completely, or do away with the T20 series, keep the ODI series. Some adjustment has to be made, because at the end of the day, there is a World Cup as well for the ODIs.
Correct.
Yeah, so they have to play some ODI cricket, but they'll have to reduce the number of bilateral series.
Okay. What happens to the test then?
So now the test is a very tricky one, because we got about 10 or 11 test playing nations.
Correct.
I think they might have to continue the same format where you have a World Championship cricket for tests, but reduce the number of teams. You have, say, top 6 and then 2 qualifiers every year or every 2 years, so that you have a limited amount of teams, but more test cricket which can be played amongst them, because you've got limited time.
Okay, so you think time is the only constraint for test cricket, but I would actually argue that if you wanted to proliferate the game, test cricket is obviously the pinnacle of cricket. Everybody, even the youngest player who joins, somehow makes his way through IPL or whichever format, and then actually wants to play test cricket. But if you are going to say that, okay, only the top 6 or top 8 can play test cricket and the rest will have to qualify for it, so it's go for quality rather than quantity. I understand that. But then how is the game going to progress? How is it going to go to other countries?
So they will have to go the other way. So T20 will be probably played across the globe, and
Which has already been played.
yeah, and but with other non-playing countries as well, maybe with associate countries as well.
But that one of the formats, the longer format as we would call it, because T20 is here to stay. Today it's T20, tomorrow it might be 150 balls, who knows. But if you consider that it is a money-making machine, it is very, very difficult for the boards to let go. And we've already established that. Now, if we were to actually choose between Test cricket and one-day cricket, you want best of both worlds. Because even though one-day cricket might be considered slightly boring in the middle overs, can they not judge it up by putting something else there?
Yeah, something they have to consider.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to die a natural death.
Yeah, well, that's going to be really sad because, you know, the purists, and I suppose you and I are considered purists, we would want more of quality cricket. And I'm not 100% certain that T20 cricket allows you to actually do that. I'm not suggesting that IPL is bad, or for that matter T20 bilateral series are not going to be good. We're also going to have this issue that some of the players might not want to play these long formats. They might say that I don't want to play Test cricket. What happens then?
Well, then you have the situation which we have in India, where you have 30-40 players, some of them playing only white ball cricket and some of them only wanting to play Test cricket, and a handful of them trying to play everything. The other thing which I was thinking was, how fickle is the audience going to be in 10 years' time? How will they actually remain focused or remain to like the T20 format is for everybody to think about?
My take on this is that until 2027, I think the Futures Tours program is already set to an extent. So I don't see much deviation in that. But you're right, 2027 onwards, which is about 5 years away, there is a good chance that one of these formats, the long formats, are likely to go. What do you think?
A couple of questions for you guys. The first one is the era of the specialist player just starting? And secondly, which of the longer formats is going to die away in the near future? Keep your comments coming and put them in the comments section.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss another video.